Okay, so we're talking personal narratives
Yes.
this morning, and this was their latest
Yes.
personal narrative.
This
Tell me
is
about
their
this.
latest, which I went back using the, I always forget the name of the book.
Oh.
You know, the Pathways book they give us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Writing
wrote mine.
Pathways book.
Yeah.
So I went back and I just reminded them. I went through the student samples that there
Uh-huh.
were from personal
Oh, yes,
narratives.
the spider one you were telling me about that they loved, yes.
They loved, and so I showed them kindergarten ones. I also showed them then the first grade ones,
Mhm.
and you had challenged them earlier in the year to try to write like
Yes.
a first grader, and
Yes.
gave them some examples to stretch themselves with writing.
Mhm.
So we went through that. They remembered it. They really enjoyed it. They wanted to go on, but I said, okay, now it's time to set to work. So we also talked about what a personal narrative was, and they seemed to remember that.
Good.
Which was great. In fact, you know, they knew it was something that had to do with you, something that happened to you.
Mhm.
Some of them still have trouble with that. They might write and they might say, I love my mom. And so, you know, we talk about, well, maybe you could tell about a time when you felt like, oh, I love you, Mom. So trying to tweak that for them. All right, so usually I always start with having them draw a picture because I feel like the drawing and the oral language before the writing.
Mhm.
So we did the picture. I stressed detail. If there wasn't enough detail, then I would ask questions
Mhm.
to get them to draw more detail.
Right.
And I felt that was really beneficial for them. That's just how we've basically been going. So, of course, then after the first session, I've got like 6 kids who pretty much are like kind of finished with their first, you know, like a draft.
Yeah.
And it needs then some revisions. And then I have some kids who haven't even finished their pictures. So we're, of course, in different stages. So, with those 6 kids, I conferenced with them very briefly, and what I tried to do was look at what they had and what I thought were the areas that I could stretch them. And that's the part that I guess, you know, because I'm new to kindergarten, I think it would be helpful to, you know, see what you have.
Okay.
So, like, for example, with one girl, she really needed to put spaces between her words, so
Uh-huh.
that's something that she worked on.
Mhm.
And then the next thing was she's not accessing the word wall.
Okay.
So what I did was underline words that I knew were on the word wall,
Mhm.
and I told her that those she should correct. I didn't
Okay.
expect other things. So does that sound?
Yeah, let's take a look. I mean,
Okay.
so it sounds like we're looking at different
Ways to stretch.
to stretch them. Okay. I was looking at the teaching rubric first. I was looking through these yesterday.
Okay.
So I pulled out the one for narrative writing. And looking at that spelling. The writer could read her writing, which I think she could. Yeah, the writer used the word well to help her spell. So that is developmental. That's exactly what we should be doing
Okay.
in kindergarten right now.
Right.
So that sounds like an appropriate goal for her. Were you able to show her like the checklist to go through something like that?
We have used the checklist. We haven't, with her right now, we haven't used it because this is so current that we haven't gotten to that yet. Well,
Right.
we talked about it beforehand, but, so we talked about it before they started,
Uh-huh.
but then we didn't go back after they'd written and we didn't like do a self-evaluation yet,
Okay.
I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So, so I probably should have done that first. Have them do a self-eval.
Okay, yeah.
And then if they didn't pick that up, then I make the suggestion.
In like a one-on-one conference.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And that self-eval is going to keep her accountable for her learning too.
Right. So I
Okay.
should have done the self-eval first and then, whereas what I did was,
Mhm.
you know, I made a suggestion.
Mhm.
She worked on that, and then my intent was to have her do a self-eval.
Okay.
Okay.
It would be interesting to see what would happen doing the self-evaluation
Right.
first.
Right. Well, I think it would be a good idea because, again, it puts the responsibility on the learner.
I agree.
My phone's ringing.
That's okay. So we've kind of got a plan for her. Are there other students who would benefit from that kind of thinking?
The doing the self-eval first,
Mhm.
yes, definitely. In fact, I think I should do it with all of them. I have to tell you, this was Paulo.
Ooh.
In 20 minutes, completely independent, which would never have happened.
Mrs. Vesseling, would you call the office, please? Thank you.
Go ahead. It's fine. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yep. That's okay. I'm going to stop it.
Sorry.
It happens.